Okay, so I just discovered something really cool this past weekend, and I wanted to share it with you. So if you've been on our email list, you may have heard that we developed this sort of understanding that we have 3 different levels of flower essence blends. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, because it goes deeper as you go. Here's what I discovered, that there's actually a method to the madness. And because as you know, I always decide things intuitively, but I don't always understand why in the moment. But I'm beginning to understand why we've developed things in the way that we have with these particular blends. So in the beginning, we came out with 6 different flower elixir blends, and we pretty much worked with those for almost 10 years. Ourselves, the community, our partners, and that would be Joy Juice, Inner Peace, Infinite Love, Inspired Action, Quiet Mind, Radiant Energy, all the faves, right? And the way that I see level 1 is, I'm calling it stabilization. And it is, so these particular blends are more about acute symptoms or situations, like things that you need right now. Like, I need relief, like give me sleep. I want to feel better. I'm stressed. I want love. I want to laugh. I want energy. I want creativity right now. Oh, I have period cramps. I need to fix that right now, right? So things that are more acute. And I should also add that in these different levels, they are different dilutions of flower essences. So like similar to homeopathy, for example, where you can take different dilutions, we're operating with that same principle and concept in the world of LOTUSWEI. So the first level stabilization is really around all of those feelings that we feel when we are, shit hits the fan and we're super stressed. We may feel panic, anxiety, or anxious, or restless, or nervous, or overwhelm based on just really high stress situations going on in our lives, transitions, we just got bad news, things like that. Or, great things that make us super nervous, like public speaking, for example. Or maybe we just got in a little car accident and we need something to, boom, like give us stability immediately. Inner peace is in the level 1. And now I'm going to talk about a vertical. I've been calling them verticals. I know that's kind of a strange word, but it would be like the corresponding blend in each of the 3 levels and how that all ties together. And then how you can use it to your benefit, because all of us have challenges. And if you can use flower essences to bring in more ease into your life, then that's great, right? And then the second level that we're working with is just a little bit deeper, and it's called exploration. And this is the level where you discover the root. Like, this is literally, so for example, when I started working with Boundless Wisdom years ago, I always tell the story that I was cooking quietly, stirring stuff in a wok, and suddenly I was like, oh, that's why I'm like that. Like, I literally had this massive aha moment about something that happened in childhood and why I am the way I am today, and how certain things that I do today are based on a particular, so-called past trauma or some experience that affected me really deeply when I was little. So this is the 2.0, the exploration, and all of those blends are, besides Boundless Wisdom, would be Fierce Compassion, Wild Abundance, Full Bloom, Truth Teller, and Game Changer. And this is like taking it a level deeper. This is where we really start to look at what are the root causes? What are the experiences that happened? And this isn't like necessarily therapy or going over things in your brain or trying to figure things out. It's more like just let the flower essences do their work, but they take you down a notch into exploring why. Like, what is the root cause that is creating the more acute symptoms from level 1, if this makes sense. Then we go to level 3, which is called liberation. I know that's quite a big word. The level 3 would be luscious embodiment in this example, in this particular vertical of flower essences. And the liberation level is called, like, the essence of it is to dissolve the manifestation. And what this means is how we do things in daily life, how a particular behavior manifests, is sort of like how we respond based on the fact that we have these things that have happened in the past, right? So First level, soothing the symptoms, like that quick soothe the symptoms. Second level is discovering the root. And the third level is dissolving the manifestation. So dissolving whatever it is that we exhibit in our daily life behavior as a result of all these things that we're talking about, right? So what do you do with that information? In this particular vertical, luscious embodiment is, this is like where you really look at what creates more freedom in your life. So far in that particular level, we have luscious embodiment, open heart, expansive presence. By the end of the year is my goal. We'll have another one called inner knowing, and there will be 2 additional blends, really beautiful, coming out in 2021 to complete this series. And this is about dissolving any ways or behaviors that you manifest in everyday life that sort of keep you trapped in these old patterns, so that you can experience more wild freedom, because we need wild freedom in every which way that we look and that we see. We want to experience more freedom in our bodies. We want to experience more freedom in space, experience more freedom in our minds, in our hearts, in our environments, where we live, in our communities, in our relationships. I think we all want to experience more freedom. So in this particular example, I'll give you 2 different ways that you can work with this information. And there are going to be many, many, many ways, and we're exploring all the many ways that you can work with these particular remedies. Here's the first way. If you want to take a deep dive into a particular pattern that is related to this particular vertical, you would start with the inner peace elixir. And you would take that 5 times at least a day, or put it in all your coffee, tea, water, and until that bottle is empty. When that bottle is empty, then you move on to boundless wisdom and work through whatever arises with that elixir until that bottle is empty. And then do the same with the luscious embodiment. And that will probably take you anywhere from 2.5 to 3 months to go through that full cycle. And that will be a really deep dive. Another way, if you just sort of want to like get in there right now, all 3 at once, would be to start with the inner peace elixir. So literally you would do this 5 times a day, this particular ritual. You would take the elixir, a little bit more than that. I only took a couple drops. Mist yourself with boundless wisdom. And then use some of the luscious embodiment anointing oil. This is more like the sensual way to experience it. If you haven't experienced the luscious embodiment yet, the anointing oil is blue. That is not dye. It is a natural azulene that is found in blue tansy oil. If you haven't tried luscious embodiment, it is seriously addictive. Okay, maybe I know one person. My mom isn't a huge fan of ylang ylang. And I tell you, I used to hate ylang ylang. But then I discovered the very first distillation, which is ylang ylang extra or supra. And it's so good. I literally went through 3 anointing oils in like 4 or 5 days. And then a whole anointing oil, I think I applied it like every 10 or 15 minutes, literally. I'm not exaggerating. And went through 3 bottles in like 4 or 5 days. I don't know what it is. May not be for everyone. Everyone I've talked to has been in love with it except for one person. So, scent is always an individual thing. But I cannot get enough of it. So it's at least worth a try. And the flower essences, I believe, are what we all need right now. So it is, let's just say, even if you don't like the scent, if you work with the flower essence or the flower elixir, it will be very beneficial to you and all of your loved ones and everyone that you touch. It's tuning up our energy in a way that is very beneficial for these times and these days. So the second way, aside from the deep dive, would be to take all 3, this yummy aromatic way, and do that particular ritual 5 times a day. Then within about a month, you've worked through all 3 of those blends at the same time. You can do the same. If you're really focused on love, you can do the same with infinite love, fierce compassion, open heart. You can do the same with joy juice, wild abundance, expansive presence. And then the latter 3 will be coming out later this year and early next year. Stay tuned. But for right now, I really highly recommend, if you don't know where to start, if you're totally brand new and this is the first time that you're ever seeing anything like this, drop everything, go to the website right now and take the quiz and just see what you need. Maybe start with level 1. But if you've been around the block a few times with us and you don't have luscious embodiment yet, I would highly recommend to try some. And as always, I love hearing your stories and I love hearing your feedback. I love that this body of work is alive. It is living. It is changing every day, and we are learning from it all the time. It's not something, static that's in a book and it's on a dusty shelf and that was that. It is constantly evolving. We're constantly collecting new flowers. And so we really appreciate and take to heart all of your experiences. And, we log that, we catalog that, we take that into our systems, and we're constantly learning from you. So if you've worked with expansive presence, open heart, or luscious embodiment this year, those are the 3 newest blends this year. Please share your stories, feedback. What are you experiencing? Do you like the scents? What things are happening in your lives? What do you need more of? What do you need less of? And we are always here for you, always with the intention to create exactly what the collective consciousness, the world, and you and your individual selves need. That is why we are here. So please keep an open dialogue. Tell us what you want, and we'll just keep on creating. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. It means a lot to me.